NFL 2004, ESPN NFL Football, NFL GameDay 2004, PN03 for the GameCube, and Voodoo Vince for the Xbox. All right, first game we're going to talk about is Madden NFL 2004. We're going to focus on the PlayStation 2 version, but of course it's also available for Xbox, PC, GameCube, Game Boy Advance, Intellivision, ColecoVision, and
the Telstar.
The Telstar, right. Okay, what do you think of Madden NFL 2004?
I didn't like the Odyssey 2 version, though.
The Odyssey 2 version of this game.
Graphics weren't as good.
No, they're not very good. What do you think?
Well, I gotta say that this is by far, I gotta say this up front, this is by far the best football video game ever done in the history of video games.
I'll beat that, man.
How could you possibly beat
I think this is the best sports game ever made. I don't think there's been a better,
you did beat that,
more authoritative, more detailed, more refined sports game ever designed. This is fabulous stuff. EA's added a thing called Playmaker Control, which utilizes the right analog thumbstick, and this is what definitively will stop gamers from cheating and always pulling off that one play that gets them the touchdown every time. Now you can't do that anymore because when you're playing against an opponent who understands how to use the Playmaker Control, you can adjust things on the fly. You can move your defenders over right away. You can tell if they're going to do a passing play or a rushing play. Definitely an incredible addition to the gameplay this year.
Some of the in-between animations aren't as smooth as some of the other games. You'll go from like a running position kind of and just kind of jump to another shot. The Madden heads and faces have always been a little weird. They always kind of look like little plastic mannequins. They still blink and they do that kind of thing, but some of the faces in the other games are done a lot better. You also had a comment about the sliding.
Yeah, it still has the slippery kind of control on the ground. You never get the sense that your cleats are connecting to the dirt and you're digging in, and you can make those, you know, on-the-fly jukes and spins around.
Ice skatey almost.
It's still a little bit skatey. It's always plagued the Madden series. I loved the online capabilities of this thing. I love all the tournaments that EA is setting up. Definitely an extra added bonus, gotta love feature of Madden 2004.
But I want to see Madden on the Xbox Live. No backroom, secret, sneaky deals with Sony. It's got to be for everybody. But the thing we got to talk about the most is the amazing owner's mode in this thing.
Right.
It's absolutely
very cool.
Unbelievable. Let me tell you something. Do you realize you can take a team, right?
Right.
And you can decide how much you're going to charge for hot dogs and sodas. I charged $700 for foam fingers at one point.
And your team had one season, actually one game.
$7,000 for parking.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
I didn't have anyone show up at my stadium, but still.
Yeah. Madden NFL 2004, I think, is the best sports game ever made. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10.
I'm going to go with a 9.5.
On the positive side, this game features a much improved online experience on the PlayStation 2. The owner mode is a fantastic addition to the gameplay, and Playmaker Control means that you can stop the cheating. This is a fantastic new addition.
On the negative side, the players' faces don't look as good as the other football games out there. A lot of the players' animations and motion captures don't connect as well and blend as easily as in other football games. But finally, my biggest beef with Madden is that they didn't make it Xbox Live compatible.
All right, now that we've talked about Madden, which is the best football game out there, we're going to talk about some of the competitors that are available as well. This one's ESPN NFL Football. It's from Sega.
Now, one of the most unique things that this game does that I don't know if any game's ever done before, and I've always kind of thought that this would be a cool idea to do, and they did it.
Yeah.
Helmet cam.
Yeah, right.
So if you wanted to play the quarterback and see it first-person perspective through his eyes, you can do this. Now, the major problem with this is that you nearly want to puke playing this game.
Well, watching it more. I mean, when you're playing, you can
if you're watching someone play this game, you're pretty much vomiting all over the place. I mean,
they should put that as a little feature on the back.
I barfed on your couch. I puked on your rug. You know, it is great when you get hit and tackled, though. Yeah, I mean, your head goes crazy and a big flash. I mean, you really feel like you're on the field and getting tackled, which is great.
This is a fantastic playing football game. And actually, there's a lot of things that I enjoy more about playing this game than playing Madden. I really like the way that the players connect to the ground. I think the running game has always been better with Sega's game. You really do feel like your cleats are digging in and you can make those juke moves and you can do the stutter steps and you can get around defenders.
Now, tell me what you thought of the crib.
With the crib, what you're doing is basically you're collecting your rewards and you can keep track of the accomplishments because that's when you get the little extras that you can fill up in your crib there. I like that very much.
You should be able to pick up cheerleaders and then every time you bring one back to your crib,
right,
you can, like, you know, have a trophy for that. Well, I commend Sega and ESPN for having both consoles online. You can get online on Xbox, get online on the PlayStation 2.
Yep.
That's cool. Unlike other companies, EA, you know who I'm talking about.
It's definitely a contender. It's just not quite the polish and shine of Madden NFL 2004. What are you going to give ESPN football?
If Madden didn't exist,
yeah,
this game would have got a higher score. But
yes,
the fact that Madden's out there to compete with this and just does everything so amazing, I'm going to give this an 8.
Right. I'm going to give it a 9. I mean, this game's still got lots of gameplay. It's got a franchise mode. It's got the crib. It's got the first-person thing. It's got online play. It's the game to get on the Xbox, but it still doesn't beat the PlayStation 2 experience of Madden. On the positive side, this is a game that you can play online on both the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. The crib feature is kind of funky. It's a great way to show off all the rewards you've won. But the best part about this game is it's very tight gameplay. Action on the field feels exactly the way you want it to.
You know, on the negative side, there's nothing really specifically wrong with this game. It's just that a lot of the stuff isn't as in-depth as the Madden game. Oh yeah, and one other thing, although I love the concept of helmet cam, it makes me want to barf all over the place.
All right, there's one more football game that we've got to talk about. It's from Sony. It's PlayStation 2 exclusive. It's 989 Sports, NFL GameDay 2004. What'd you think of this one?
Now, the GameDay franchise took a huge dive back a couple years ago.
Yeah, as soon as it hit the PlayStation 2.
On the PlayStation, as a matter of fact, they just stopped making the game. They've brought it back now, and they've done a lot of improvements. I really like the animations of the players. Their shoulders move when they walk. You know, they strut around, they breathe, they blink. I freaking died when I saw one of the refs get hit by one of the players.
There are some severe problems in a bunch of different areas, but let's talk about the art first. There are moments of just this herky-jerky thing, like it's stuck in between trying to figure out what it's supposed to do next. I also didn't like the fact that they've gone to the trouble of creating these really detailed environments. There's players and people all over the sidelines, and then the play will happen right around the sideline, and there's no animation at all.
They're like mannequins.
It does have a very good online experience, so there's all kinds of ways to create tournaments. You can chat within little rooms within the online interface built into the game.
You know, I think they did a lot of things right.
Yep.
They did some things even better than the other football games out there.
Yep.
But overall, it just fell a little short. I think this is a franchise that over the next couple years could get to greatness.
Starting to bring it back again, yeah.
Right.
Which is nice to see.
So hopefully they'll focus on the positives, get rid of the negative stuff.
Yep.
But overall, I'm going to give this game a 7.5.
I'm going to give it a 6. I think it was outclassed, but I do think that Game Day is on the rise again, and the competition will be a good thing.
On the positive side, the online play was done extremely well. The players' faces and animations and walks and motion captures are really well done. And there's nothing funnier than watching a ref fall down right on his bum. I nearly blew the cereal out my nose.
On the negative side, there's some problems with stuttering and slowdown in the animation. The characters along the sidelines aren't animated at all, and generally, overall, this game doesn't deliver the same kind of satisfaction that you can find from EA or Sega this year. Stick around, we're going to be right back with a new GameCube shooter called PN3.
Ah, new winner of the Stupid Name Award. All right, are you ready for this? I'm talking about Madden NFL Football 2004. Now, I've been waiting for a good football game on a portable system for a long time. Now, it's not like most sports games that they port over to the GBA, which just has, like, the actual game itself. As we all know, the Madden franchise is all about, you know, training and building your team and choosing your players and trading players and, you know, all these kind of franchise modes. Well, guess what? This game cartridge actually has all of that inside of it. You can even create your own player. It has all the NFL teams. It even has a bunch of voice bits from Madden, and Al Michaels in there. The cheer of the crowd is really good. Now, the camera angle is a little weird sometimes because after you hike it, it kind of zooms down on the field and the players look like they kind of get a little weird and distorted, and the animations aren't as smooth as you're used to seeing, and they're actually not even as smooth as the old Genesis games from the early 90s, but still, this is by far the best football game ever done on the GBA. It has very clear and concise menu screens, very easy to read. The running game's okay, the passing game's pretty cool. It's got all the Madden extras you're used to, and you can even link it to your GameCube to unlock special Madden cards. I'm giving it a 9.
All right, we're back, and we're going to talk now about PN3. This is product number 3 from Capcom for the GameCube.
Congratulations, Capcom, on the worst name award of the year. You play a character, and her name is Vanessa. Now,
that's right.
Vanessa has one of the tightest asses I've seen on a video game character in a long time.
An incredible butt.
And as she does dances while she's shooting people, but you never find out why or how or anything like that. And to make things worse, they don't have any cool cinematics and dialogue things. It's all just reading.
Right.
And you know how I feel about that.
Yeah, you basically get your mission, you get a shot of the boss that you have to go beat up, and you go in and you beat up all the little bad guys, and then you beat up the boss, and you do that over and over again. There's only 11 missions in the game, and the bosses are actually repeated in the game. So you'll see the same boss enemy creatures over and over again, and basically all you're doing is beating up on robots and machines and stuff.
What you're beating up on is floating icons.
Yes.
Because that's all you see in the game.
It really is.
Obviously, if a ship is flying and it's shooting at you, obviously, yes, that is one of your enemies. But no, there's these games out there that put a big, giant green icon on the ship so you know that you have to shoot that. Well, duh.
Yeah.
As well as they modeled Vanessa and her tight buns, they forgot to model the rest of the environment.
And everything's sort of white and clean looking. It's very futuristic. It gets boring because they reuse the art so much throughout the game.
It's a very repetitive game to begin with.
It's a repetitive game in terms of the action that it delivers, but it's sort of oddly addicting as well. Like you get sort of caught up in all the blasting. It's like every Twitch shooter game that you play.
I mean, it's no Devil May Cry. Let's put it, you know.
It's not even, I mean, it's nowhere in the realm of a Resident Evil. It's nowhere near a Beautiful Joe. The controls are the rotate in position and then move forward kind of thing. So if you're like sideways to a platform and you have to jump up to the platform, you have to rotate your character and then jump up. It's very frustrating for that kind of thing. But in terms of like doling out the firepower, you get some pretty cool special powers and stuff like that as well. You collect all kinds of things, sort of amp up your power and stuff like that. It's a typical shooter environment. It's got a good butt and some music that you can dance to.
Good music, good butt, gets a 6 from me.
4.5 from me.
On the positive side, the music is really cool in this game. The concept of a dancing assassin is kind of neat. And Vanessa's character moves and motion looks great.
On the negative side, the control can be very difficult to deal with. There's barely any story there, and this game's got the most ridiculous name we've ever heard. All right, we're still on our search to find the perfect racing wheel for the Nintendo GameCube. We found a pretty cool one. This is called the MC2 MicroCon steering wheel, and it's from Mad Catz.
What they've done is they've made it to where they've put a little lap humps in your thing so that you can jam the thing in your crotch and steer it around and it won't slide off your crotch.
It's like you're reading the instruction book right now.
Yeah.
It's also got the retractable holder thing so that when you lap hump it, you can stick the retractable holder thing.
Gentlemen?
Now, the thing about the steering wheel is that it's the perfect steering wheel if you're wanting to train your 3 to 6-year-old how to drive.
Sure.
Because the steering wheel is very small. It's really micro, just like the name says. If you've got you know, fairly large hands, you're gonna feel all scrunched up in there. It still has the paddle shifters. It's got all the buttons on the steering wheels, and you can program them to whatever you want. The pedals are nice and sturdy. They're also very small as well.
I must say, though, that like the paddle shifters and I mean, it does feel a little flimsy.
Yeah.
It isn't one of these heavy-duty, hardcore,
No, not
you
at
know,
all. No.
kind of thing. If you're looking for a wheel to travel with,
Yes, actually, that's a good point.
that's a great thing.
And of course, the best thing about the steering wheel, too, is that it's only 30 bucks. I'm gonna recommend it.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend it as well.
On the positive side, the price point's not too bad. It's 30 bucks. It's a pretty small wheel, so it's easy to store, and you can take it with you if you go traveling. And both Tommy and I love the way it hugs your lap.
On the negative side, if you have huge hands, it's going to be hard to control this thing. Some of the parts, especially the paddle shifting, seem a little less than sturdy. And finally, it's really hard to control Super Mario Sunshine with this thing.
Stick around. We're going to be right back with Voodoo Vince for the Xbox.
Fighters Megamix for the Saturn.
If you're gonna buy any fighting game for the Saturn, buy Fighters Megamix. It's got all the characters, it's got all the Virtual Fighter characters, it's got all the Fighting Viper characters, it's even got some weird characters. I like the backgrounds. It's like you have all the backgrounds from like every Sega game.
Yep.
You have like Sonic the Hedgehog background, you have the
Daytona track.
Daytona track, and you get all the music from all the games
And
too.
you can
which
choose
is
to have
cool.
them walled in or have them not walled in, so,
Right.
and there's no more ring outs. I couldn't stand the ring outs. But the coolest thing of all is that there's the Virtual Fighter 3 moves are in there, so you can have the shift button does the dodge moves, and you've got all these extra little doodads that the characters do that it just kicks.
Now,
It's
me and
way
you
cool.
played a little two-player tournament also, didn't we?
Yeah.
And do you want to tell our viewing audience out there who won?
Yeah, I let you win.
Oh.
Because of the first time that he played.
Okay. It's a fun game. It's the best fighting game, I think, for the Saturn. I give it an 8.5.
I'd give it a 9.5.
9.5.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Hey, I'm here at EB Games, and I've got a buried treasure that I saw on the Judgment Day forums. You guys are recommending this one. It's called Courier Crisis for the PlayStation 1. I love this game. It is a very ugly game, though. Don't be shocked by the pitiful graphics of this game. It is very, very bad looking, and I will admit that by today's standards, it falls very, very short. But this is still an incredibly fun game, and I haven't really played another game like this one since. It's sort of like a 3D take on Paperboy. Remember Paperboy from the old days in the arcades? Similar kind of thing. You play a courier, you're racing through a city, you pick up packages, and you have to get to where the package has to be delivered, and all kinds of crazy stuff jumps in your way. You've got pedestrians that have to stand in your way, you've got cars that want to run you over, you got incredible stunts and jumps that you have to pull off. The challenges also change depending on what part of the city that you're traveling through. For instance, if you're going through sort of the bad part of town, you might have drive-by shootings happening, things like that. The game's definitely got that sort of extreme sports vibe. It's not too dissimilar from the whole Tony Hawk feel that's happening and still very, very popular in games today. Go check this one out. It's called Courier Crisis for the PlayStation 1. All right, we're back, and we're going to talk now about Voodoo Vince, which is from Microsoft for the Xbox.
A lot of these developers and publishers, they put out these third-person platformy 3D games,
Right.
and they're all kind of the same. Well, this one is actually really unique. The great thing about it is that level design is really well thought out. You do a lot of things in this game that you wouldn't normally do. Because you're this stuffed burlap bag, basically,
Yeah.
of a character, this ugly little voodoo doll dude.
Yeah.
You actually can like destroy yourself. You're not a living person, so your thinking kind of has to be like a little whack.
I was impressed by the imaginative kind of approach that everybody took. I think
Yeah.
people think that making these character action adventure games is really simple because there's so many of them, but it's very hard to get it right. It's very hard to make something distinctive that stands apart from the competitors that are out there, but also gives you all the control and camera stuff that you want out of a 3D thing. Very sort of mature type humor in this game.
Innovative stuff, though, as well.
Very twisted, very weird looking bad guys. You got mutant frogs with wings. You've got beetle bugs that are dropping bombs and stuff all over the place. You've got this giant sleeping pig that you have to wake up with cymbals. And then lead them over to this, like, anvil thing to crush them and make them all flat, and then you can get past it. He's like the laziest boss in the world, isn't he?
Because he's sleeping.
He's sleeping the whole time.
And they have some great like special move animations as well.
I love the music. The music was one of the best parts of this thing.
I mean, you get this whole kind of Southern, Cajun,
jazz,
Creole jazz thing going on.
But you're in for a song.
A song? Isn't this a science museum?
Hey, this is the Big Easy. Come on, I just want somebody to jam with.
The cinematics are really well done. Problem is that you can't click through.
Can't click through
the cinematics.
Not all of the character constructs are that great, and let's be honest. I mean, Voodoo Vince, great textures and great sort of nice little details, but a fairly simplistic-looking character.
Well, that's the biggest problem I have with this game is, you know what? I really don't want to play a Voodoo doll. No. Crash Bandicoot's a cool character. Sonic's a cool character. Mario's a cool character.
No,
Voodoo Vince.
I disagree. I think
not a cool character.
I think that's a great character, and I think that a lot of the great sort of art design and stuff like that that went into this game is very clever, but there are some limitations. The environments...
Like, it's darker, it's New Orleans.
It's darker, and it's also more claustrophobic.
I mean,
you don't feel like
that's for sure.
You don't feel like you have as much room to breathe and run around. And
very innovative in the level design. I really like this game a lot.
I enjoyed this game too, and I think that Xbox owners should do themselves a favor and check this game out.
Absolutely.
I'm going to give Voodoo Vince a 7.5.
I'm giving it an 8. On the positive side, this has some of the coolest and unique Cajun Creole jazz music you've ever heard. The graphics and cinematics overall are very well done, but most of all, it's the unique level design and the character Vince himself which really shines.
On the negative side, the environments feel a little bit claustrophobic. There's just not enough areas to explore in each of these levels. You can't click through the cinematics, bad move there. And as innovative as Voodoo Vince is, it doesn't rank with the Banjo-Kazooies, the Mario Sunshines, or the Jak 2s of this world. Today on the show, we took a look at Madden NFL 2004. This is an incredible sports game with tons of detail. We love the playmaker control and the new owner mode, but where's the Xbox Live support? We also looked at ESPN NFL football from Sega. There are some terrific, tight controls in this game, and we love the ESPN presentation. We weren't too crazy about that first-person mode, though. Exclusive to the PlayStation 2, we looked at NFL GameDay 2004. This series is getting much better. We like the online play and the voice support, but this game is still not up to the caliber of Madden or ESPN. On the GameCube, we looked at PNO3. Very strange title, but we like the music and the very cool dancing assassin, but we didn't like the controls. For the Xbox, we looked at Voodoo Vince. Excellent music in this game and some clever character ideas, but the gameplay just wasn't as fun as some of the best platformers out there. In hardware, we looked at the MC2 MicroCon racing wheel from Mad Catz. This small wheel works pretty well and it's a good value, but if you've got big hands, you want to be looking somewhere else. On the Game Boy Advance, sticking with our football theme, Tommy reviewed Madden NFL 2004. He loved all the cool Madden extras that you get in this portable game, but he thought the animation was a little bit sluggish. Well, that's all the time we have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week on Reviews on the Run.